Gen Z voters who helped elevate Trump to a second term are now having major buyer's remorse, according to some recent polling. For example, there's a poll from YouGov and The Economist showing that, he's not doing so good with the youth. Last year, Trump had seen an unprecedented spike in approval among 18 to 29-year-olds, specifically young men. However, that support is now gone. By July 21st, Trump's approval rating sat at just 28% among Gen Z voters. Still a little high. But that is a staggering 62-point drop from its peak about 8 months ago. Wow. Didn't take long, okay, for that to set in. As soon as he took power and didn't do any of the things he said he was going to do to help young men, he started to lose them. Good work. Great. Now, the president's favorability among that age group peaked at plus 19 on November 16th, but had started to drop even before the inauguration and sat at a modest plus 5 on January 25th. By February 6th, just 2 weeks into his term, it had dropped to negative 19. Oof. And keeps dropping like a stone. And he's taking the Republican Party with him. Ouch. According to G. Elliott Morris, the pollster, nearly half of Gen Z voters Morris had polled in July said that they thought the Republican Party had moved too far to the right, while only 24% said the Democratic Party had moved too far to the left. Okay. I don't know who those people are, but they're probably got their heads up their asses. That's just my guess, though. This is my guess. Since Trump announced his re-election campaign in November of 2022, YouGov has only recorded his favorability as falling below negative 43 twice among the 18 to 29 age group. And, well, now it's there. The first drop occurred during a civil fraud trial in October of 2023, and the second in March of 2024 during the lead up to his criminal hush money trial. Why the drop, though? Well, there's numerous reasons. According to a separate YouGov CBS News poll, voters 18 to 29 are unhappy with Trump and his administration on nearly every major issue, even immigration. In fact, a whopping 66% of Gen Z respondents said that they thought that he was too tough on immigration, while 71% said that they disapproved of his handling of the economy. It turns out that making things more expensive for young people, or well, for everybody actually, but in order to benefit the richest among us, isn't all that popular. Housing is more expensive, food's more expensive, everything's more expensive. And not only that, but what little help there are for people, young people, especially with student loans, has been taken away. So congratulations. I'm not exactly sure what young people expected. Gen Z men, you really dropped the ball on this one. I understand that Kamala wasn't the greatest. I agree. She supported Israel's ethnic cleansing. She went hard against immigration. She palled around with Liz Cheney. That sucked. That was not rad. Okay? It wasn't. But even with all of that, she was still a better option than Donald Trump by far, which is kind of a bigger indictment of our two-party system and an example of how it's failing the people by not really giving us all that good of choices. But still, there's no excuse for seeing those choices and choosing the absolute worst one. And now we all stuck with it. I cannot say that I am thrilled to be stuck in this dystopian hellhole, but I don't know, maybe these polling results may help go towards making up for putting this guy back into power. Maybe. But I have more. Turns out there's another major issue that's damaging Trump's ratings, and that is the Epstein files. According to a July 18th YouGov poll, 41% of Gen Z respondents believe that Trump likely knew a lot about Epstein's crimes before his 2019 arrest, while 42% said to believe Trump and Epstein were close friends. Now, this isn't the only bad polling news for Trump. According to CNN pollster Harry Enton, Trump's net approval rating has dropped nearly 20 points in the aggregate since the beginning of his presidency. The American people, he said, do not like what they're seeing. And Donald Trump's administration is in a ton of trouble at this point in the minds of the American voters. Trump had a net approval rating of -14 on the economy and foreign policy, with his never-ending tariff negotiations earning him a -15-point approval rating on trade, on immigration. His net approval rating was only at -5. That's his best issue. His best issue with voters. -5. I mean, he is underwater everywhere. And again, the Epstein stuff, that's really hurting him. Really. But that's not all. It turns out Trump is also not doing well with just Republican voters. His strongest group of support, which is still really strong. Let's be fair about that. But they are just not happy. According to YouGov The Economist, in May, Trump held a commanding approval rating of 88% among conservative voters, with just 11% disapproving, a net rate approval of +77. But that margin has narrowed in the months following. By June, his approval slipped to 83%, disapproval rising to 15%, bringing his net rating down to +68. The downward trend continued into July, with Trump's conservative approval rating dropping to 81%, still too high, and disapproval climbing to 17%, a net approval rating of just +64. The lowest in months. Again, the biggest issue with these conservative voters is the economy, which has not gotten better. It's actually gotten worse. Inflation went up, the tariffs are costing people more, and the big beautiful bill is anything but big or beautiful. In fact, in June, 73% of conservatives supported the bill, while 18% oppose it. That opposition is likely to go up as they find out what's actually in the bill firsthand. The Medicaid and food stamp cuts are going to absolutely devastate red states when they go into effect. It will not be pretty. So, look, at the end of the day, obviously people are having the day they voted for, and they're not really liking it. The only people who do happen to be the wealthiest among us, who are once again, in all of this, the biggest winners. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share, subscribe, hit the bell icon in order to get notified whenever a new video is released. And if you want to support independent, progressive media through this difficult time where it seems like everybody is shutting down, you can become a member on our YouTube page, you can become a subscriber on Facebook, or you can go to my Patreon. It's patreon.com/Jeff Waldorf. Thank you.